Stephen Jenkins, international public speaker, talks to me about the Victoria PBS series. Can you give an example of how, despite the appeal of the Victoria series on PBS, there are some historical inaccuracies in the script?
Yes, Alex. One obvious example is the assassination attempt on Victoria's life in a London park by a man called Edward Oxford. Prince Albert did protect his wife, but he was not wounded as portrayed in the series.
What is well portrayed in this Victoria series?
In an intriguing and subtle way, the contradictions of the character, this young woman Victoria, gives this portrayal great depth. Also, her deeply complicated personal relationship with Prime Minister Lord Melbourne is well examined. The relationship between Victoria and Albert matured into a dependency early in their marriage. And the earnestness of Prince Albert, his awareness of the times and needs of the British people, is another thread in this rich tapestry of character.
What is Victoria's appeal?
Well, in a way, Gemma Coleman, the actress who plays young Victoria, says it best, so I think I'll quote her. She says, "It's a modern story. It's about a young girl with a complex personality, surrounded by many people who expect her to fail. It's a love story, and the Victorian era has beautiful set designs and costumes." Alex, in this series, we see the problems of inequality and wealth in England. A young queen ascending to the throne of a superpower, her inexperience and impulsiveness leading to early grave mistakes and some unpopularity. Despite the initial goodwill of her people, glad to see the back of the Georges and the excesses of the Hanoverian dynasty, these initial problems nearly destroyed Victoria's reign before it even got started.
This is a 170-year-old history.
Yeah.
Could you explain any modern-day similarities?
Well, there are some. Before Elizabeth II, Victoria was the longest reigning monarch in British history. Now, of course, Queen Elizabeth II is the longest reigning monarch in British history. That happened just about a year ago. Like Victoria, Elizabeth II has a great sense of duty. Like Victoria, Elizabeth has been well educated as to her limits as a constitutional monarch. And like Victoria, Elizabeth depends on her prince, in her case, Prince Philip, to be her rock.
I must admit, I hadn't thought about it like that. Is Queen Elizabeth II in your future plans for a presentation?
Well, as you probably some of you know out there, currently Netflix have a 10-part, what's been called now in modern parlance, a binge series on the early reign of Queen Elizabeth II and her early relationship and marriage and the first 2 years of her reign with Prince Philip. And that series is called The Crown. It, like Victoria, has been well researched, dramatised. There are some historical inaccuracies, but on the whole stays pretty close to the facts and brings alive for people that continuing part of world history that we're living in today. It's scheduled for further series development, as is Victoria. It will be my pleasure to look at the historical accuracy of The Crown and to present for any of you out there the series on Victoria. And if you have any questions or want further information as to everything we talked about today, please contact me on email, boomerhinterland@gmail.com. Let me just explain that email reference for you. Boomer comes from baby boomers, which many of us are now, or we've got children who are baby boomers if we're the greatest generation. And hinterland is that part of our mind we go to for music, poetry, literature, which gives us theological reflection, of course, which gives us our minds a rest and takes us out of the selfishness and preoccupations of our own lives, and is a great comfort to us all. So please do contact me. Thank you very much for viewing this. I wish all that view this a very peaceful and happy 2017.